Canterbury Tales, 1378 to 1400, is a collection of 70 poems narrative. The story tells about the pilgrimage to the shrine of Thomas A. Becket in Canterbury, Kent. It is said that there are as many as 30 people from various professions pilgrims gathered in lodging tabard. Geoffrey Chaucer, 1340 to 1400. He is the greatest poet and storyteller of the Middle Ages. He was born in London, around 1342. His father was a wine merchant. His family name derives from the French Chaucer, meaning shoemaker. Besides, Chaucer also contributed importantly the second half of the 14th century to the management of public affairs as a courtier, diplomat, and civil servant. Chaucer first appears in public records in 1357 as a member of the House of Elizabeth, Countess of Ulster, wife of Lionel III, son of King Edward III. 2 years later, Chaucer served in the army under Edward III and was captured during an unsuccessful offensive at Rheims, although he was later ransomed. Then, he became page again, in household of John of Gaunt, Duke of Lancaster. In 1392 he was sent on diplomatic mission in Genoa, Italy. His work has influenced all to come after him. The work of Shakespeare, Marlowe, Edgar Allan Poe, Charles Dickens, even J.K. Rowling credit Chaucer as strong influence. In The Beauty of April, the narrator and 29 oddly assorted travelers happen to meet at the Tabard Inn in Southwark, London. This becomes the launching point for their 60-mile, 4-day religious journey to the shrine of St. Thomas A. Becket at the cathedral in Canterbury. As the travelers are becoming acquainted, their host, the innkeeper Harry Bailey, decides to join them. He suggests that they pass the time along the way by telling stories. Each pilgrim is to tell 4 stories, 2 on the way to Canterbury, and 2 on the return trip. As the travelers begin their journey the next morning, they draw straws to see who will tell the first tale. The night begins the storytelling with a long romantic epic about 2 brave young knights who both fall in love with the same woman and who spend years attempting to win her love. When the host invites the monk to tell a story to match the knights, the miller, who is drunk, becomes so rude and insistent that he be allowed to go next that the host allows it. The miller's tale is indeed very funny, involving several tricks and a very dirty prank as a young wife conspires with her lover to make love to him right under her husband's nose. The miller's fablio upsets the reeve because it involves an aging carpenter being cuckolded by his young wife, and the reeve himself is aging and was formerly a carpenter. Insulted by the miller, the reeve retaliates with a tale about a miller who is made a fool of in very much the same manner as the carpenter in the preceding rendition. After the reeve, the cook speaks up and begins to tell another humorous adventure about a thieving, womanizing young apprentice. When the dialogue among the travelers resumes, the morning is half gone and the host, Harry Bailey, urges the man of law to begin his entry quickly. Being a lawyer, The man of law is very long-winded and relates a very long story about the life of a noble woman named Constance who suffers patiently and virtually through a great many terrible trials. In the end she is rewarded for her perseverance. The man of law's recital, though lengthy, has pleased the other pilgrims very much. Harry Bailey then called upon the parson to tell a similar tale of goodness. Indeed, his story involves a lovely wife who cuckolds her husband to get money for a new dress and gets away with the whole affair. Harry Bailey is wildly enthusiastic about the priest's tale, turning very body in his praise. The earthy wife of Bath is chosen as the next participant, probably because the host suspects that she will continue in the same body vein. However, the wife turns out to be quite a philosopher, prefacing her tale with a long discourse on marriage. Hoping for something more uplifting next, the host gives the cleric his chance. Obligingly, the cleric entertains with his tale of the cruel Walter of Saluzzo who tested his poor wife unmercifully. When the merchant has finished, Harry Bailey again interjects complaints about his own domineering wife, but then requests a love story of the squire. The dialogue resumes with the Franklin complimenting the squire and trying to imitate his eloquence with an ancient lyric of romance. There is no conversation among the pilgrims before the physician's tale. His story is set in ancient Rome and concerns a young virgin who prefers death to dishonor. The host has really taken the physician's sad story to heart and begs the partner to lift his spirits with a happier tale. However, the other pilgrims want something more instructive, so the partner obliges. The knight has to intervene to restore peace. The second nun then tells the moral and inspiring life of Saint Cecilia. About 5 miles later, a canon and his yeoman join the party, having ridden madly to catch up. When the canon's yeoman reveals their underhanded business, the canon rides off in a fit of anger, and the canon's yeoman relates a tale about a cheating alchemist, really a disclosure about the canon. It is late afternoon by the time the yeoman finishes and the cook has become so drunk that he falls off his horse. There is an angry interchange between the cook and the manciple, and the cook has to be placated with more wine. The manciple then tells his story, which is based on an ancient myth and explains why the crow is black. At sundown the manciple ends his story. The host suggests that the parson conclude the day of tale-telling with a fable. However, the parson preaches a 2-hour sermon on penitence instead. The Canterbury tales end here.